Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm AMNON, your host for the next couple of hours. Well, we're going to go a little bit longer today. We have a guest at 11. And with me is Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I didn't have a chance to capture it right, so I'm doing it as we speak. And Mike is here.
You're multiplexing?
Good morning, Mike.
Yellow.
And Nick is here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's sick, Nick.
Yeah, sick Nick.
No, he's not sick now. He's fine. He was.
That's what you get. That's what you get for snow blowing.
No, it hasn't. Oh no, well, no, it's snowing right now. It hasn't snowed previously in a while. But it's 30 degrees.
But it's still snow. There's still a lot of snow out there, right?
Yeah, probably 5.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably a little less than a foot.
Our numbers: 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, and also made possible by Telestream's Wirecast software. I'm sorry, what did you say, Nick? Whoops, you froze.
What?
Oh, there you go. You're back.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, yesterday downtown at the ceremony, I mean, all of our snow is melted away. But right on the state capitol grounds, right in front of the building, there was a little pile, maybe about a foot tall and about 6 foot in diameter, of really, really dirty snow. And you look at it and said, oh, yeah, that's what we had.
In the parking lots here, there are snow piles that are higher than like 2-story buildings. From all the snow. I mean, the stuff will literally be there probably almost until next winter. I mean, it'll be fall before that stuff finally melts.
That's a snow sculpture.
It is.
What was the old saying, Amnon? Watch out where the huskies go. Don't you eat that yellow snow.
All right. Yep.
Who was that anyway? That sang that.
I don't know who was. I'm doing something for Arnie. Here, I'm gonna try and see. And I guess /kick. I don't know that it's going to work, Arnie.
Just have to log in as somebody else.
No. Yeah, he had to log in as somebody else.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I can do that. Mike, the only thing is kick, right?
Don't ask me. I don't have a clue.
You were doing this when you were
Nick would be the guru on this.
It's the login will disappear in a few minutes, and then you can log in again. The only way that I can actually do this, that I know how to do this, is to actually kick everybody and clear the cache, and that's not going to be a good idea to do at this point. But it's okay. Pluton is Arnie Carl. Pluton. That's a neat name. Anyway, like I said, at 11 o'clock, we're going to have a guest, Stephen J., Vice President of Marketing and PR for Burg smartwatch company.
You know what happened the last time we had a guest on the day we start daylight savings time? Remember that?
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
They said he wanted to do it at 11. I said, yep, sure. If he comes in at R12, that's too bad, right? Nah, I would think that he'll do it. He'll do fine. And I've been playing with that watch, and Kathy's been playing with that watch, and truth is, I mean,
You've been watching the watch?
What? Watching the watch, yeah. The only thing about it is if you don't have a cell phone, it is a cell phone on its own.
Really?
Why don't you wait till 11 to talk about it?
All right, that's fine. Just wanted to prepare some people. So how was this week? Anything? I had an exciting week, but I've been talking for some time now. I'm going to give somebody else a chance.
Well, why don't you go ahead?
I'll go ahead. Okay. Well, finally took the plunge. I took out the XP machine and replaced it with that Xeon Windows 7 machine that I've been working for a while. And I've been testing the machine with email and everything else.
Did you send an email to Hillary to make sure it worked okay?
Yeah, but I don't think she got it because I think they closed it down.
Oh, okay.
In the process, I had some problems with my terminal program. Had to upgrade it. Had nothing to do with the machine. It just happened at the same time SSH was updated on the server. It rendered the program that I have been using, Secure CRT, useless. It will not log in. But in all honesty, I've been using that program for since 2006 with no updating. And it's been working flawlessly. So it wasn't a big deal. It was like, I think it was $40. Got the new one and had a very, very pleasant experience with the tech support for Van Dyke software. I mean, they held my hand. I did not have to write new scripts. They made sure that all the scripts came over. They were having a chuckle at the fact that I was using an old version. But everything is working. By recommendation of Brian and Nick, I started using EM Client instead of Outlook Express, which will not run on Windows 7 64. And don't think I did not search for one. And there's a bunch of links with that keyword, OE6 64-bit. it's not true. It's not, none of them is real. I'm getting used to it. It's different than Outlook Express, and you can't teach old dogs new tricks. But there are things that are better in it, and there are things that are not as good. Or let's put it this way, that I'm not used to, and you have to do it in a different way. One of the main things that I'm running into trouble is I'm used to with Outlook Express, and I don't know how it works with other programs, but if you go into the body of the message and you highlight some text, and you go and you click Control C or you click Edit Copy, when you paste it, it pastes everything in the header of the message as an attachment. You actually have to right click on the highlighted text in the body and click copy there. And then it works. So it's just little quirks like this that I'm struggling with now. But the computer is doing great. Like Nick and others were saying earlier, I'm probably not going to need all the programs to come over. And it's true. I have very few icons on the desktop. Everything that I use, it's really nice to know now that I'm ready for the update of QuickBooks, which was the main reason why I rushed to do this. And I'm not the person who rushes into things.
You still using Lotus 123?
No, retire that. There's a new program that I'm using, Excel.
Accelerate?
Who makes Excel?
I didn't pay attention.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Some small startup.
No, everything. I mean, Office moved over really nice, and my ISP billing program moved over. QuickBooks. I don't think at this point that there's anything. I'm sure I'm going to find some. Anything that I don't have, and if I don't have, it's just a KVM click away, because I kept the old machine to replace another XP machine, my really old XP machine, which was a Pentium 4, to do the monitoring, like I said, of the servers.
But that's fine as a
it does really does
exactly.
nothing.
It's literally just a terminal.
Exactly.
Really
it runs six instances of a terminal and connected to my servers, and that's fine. It doesn't do anything. You're right. But if I need something from it, it's one funny thing. I don't know who's got experience with KVM switches.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got another KVM switch, it's a Connect Pro 4-port, and I wanted something that instead of keyboard combination keys, that has actual buttons that I can switch back and forth. And it's nice. It's working really, really good. Only problem is, what I'm seeing is that the keyboard repeat rate is slower. I'm getting used to it, and in a way it's good, in a way it's not good, because I remember before the KVM switch, I mean, I would go into a document and press the down arrow, and it will go so fast that I would pass where I wanted to go, and I have to start going back. This one, instead of just going, it just goes tick, 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 like that.
That is an odd issue. You think about it. That means that it's USB, correct?
No,
Oh,
it's
you're
PS2.
still using the
Yeah, I'm using the
PS2?
PS2
oh
because
well,
there I was trying to find a KVM that will do both because I've got 3 machines on the thing, on the KVM. And I wanted to, and one of them, which is the security camera computer, does not have USB. So I have to use PS2. But it's working fine. I mean, other than that, there's no problem. And I was trying to read, and there was only one post that somebody said that they got this particular one, and it's some years old, and saying the only problem they had with it is it was so slow for the mouse and the keyboard that they had to return it. Now, I don't see anything wrong with the mouse movement. It's just the key repeat. Well, I guess it's I'll get used to it. It's not a big deal. And like I said, I'm beginning to like it because, bless you. It's actually better in a way. And I was like I saying the repeat. If you go and you try to remove a section and you click the delete key, if you don't really watch it and take your finger off of the key and back and back and back, you can delete something that you want. And it happened many a times. So I don't know, this may be a blessing in a way. But that's it. I mean, it's up and running. It's all that I thought it would be, and all that everybody else told me it would be. And my only worry now is then when Windows 10 comes up, I'm going to have to update again. But at this point, it will be at least an easier job since I did this. I don't remember when. I think I updated to XP about a year and a half after it came out. Microsoft sent a copy, which I still have, of Windows XP Professional in the beginning. And I finally, but I think it was a year and a half afterwards that I did it. So I don't remember what year it was. When did XP come out? About 2001, 2002? Anybody remembers? Because I would think that Windows 2000 came out in 2000. And that came right after that. So it's been a long time. And when you don't have to do it, you don't do it, and you just kind of settle in your way and you make things work. But that's it. That's my excitement for the week.
Yeah, it's a big deal though for you because it was a long time coming.
I know.
It was a lot of anguish too.
Yeah. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And now there's also, I have the NAS on the shelf there, and instead of using an external USB drive, I copy everything to the NAS drive, which I found I had a little problem with. That Lenovo NAS, the one that was like $59. It did not like 2 terabytes enterprise, Western Digital enterprise drives. It will not work with them.
Is it the size or that specific drive?
They were saying there was I read it somewhere. They said not all drives work with it, and they said to use Seagate drives. And I went ahead and I put 2 500 gig enterprise drives in it because of the fact that that's what my external drive was only 400, and it was hardly even half full. So, but then I figured, I want to back up some other machines that are on the network, and I figured let's put the 2 terabytes, and it will not sync with them. It will not see them. I could never bring it up with those drives. There's nothing wrong with the drives. I'm going to look for some
How does the
Seagates.
drive? How does the drive appear on the network? What do you need to load an app to use it, or is it just sit
No,
there as a
was
network drive?
I had to call. It's a network drive at this point, and the name of it is 192.168.0 blah 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 slash, and the folder that you want to set up. It's not ever working with a NAS before. I don't know if this is it works in a funny way, or maybe that's the way NAS.
Well, it appears like any other shared drive on a network.
Once you share it and once you map it, yeah, it's just another drive. It's just drive L.
But you don't have to load. I mean, with the early home versions of NAS,
Yeah.
you had to use Samba or some other
No.
application. So it's just using native Windows networking using IP,
Correct.
and you find it. So, well, that's simple
Correct.
enough.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
I took out the 2 terabyte drives and put back the 500 and saw it right away and kept on chugging.
Are you using RAID with the 2 drives?
It is a RAID. You cannot use it any other way.
Oh, okay. So 2 drives will automatically. Well, what RAID level?
1,
Okay.
which is fine. I mean, for what you're doing, and it's any way you look at it, it's better than having just an external USB drive, right?
And does it have a gig port?
A what?
A gigabit port?
Yes.
Yeah. So you upgraded your network to gig.
That's
too,
right. That's the other thing I did this week. I replaced all the switches in the studio and in the office with gigabit switches. Nothing new.
You
Not
took out
one
all
of-
those 10 meg switches?
Yeah. I got 2 24 ports. One is a Netgear. What a piece of equipment. I mean, the thing was
Good way or a bad way?
No, it's good. It was almost new. I mean, the guy sent it with the rack mount ears and with the all the paperwork. Everything looked new, and I think that was $42 on eBay. And then I got a Cisco Office Connect. Also 24 port gigabit, which is a little more, so a little more usage, and that was 40 some dollars also. And then the rest of them, I think there were 4 8-port switches in the racks and right by the routers. The thing that I was disappointed and I need to get another router is the router that links this black router that I'm using for Time Warner does not have a gigabit switch. But I figured, I mean, as long as the data within the network here is moving fast, it can't go out to the internet more than 5 megabits. So I don't know that I actually need to replace it. What do you think, Spence? It's just the router that's sending it out to the internet. The router is connecting to a switch that is gigabit. So everything that's hooked to the switch is gigabit.
So, but you really don't have, you're not, theoretically, you don't have a bottleneck.
Right.
So there's no reason to.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that it's not a big deal. The router, that the Netgear router that is on the UVerse side, which is a little bit newer, does have a gigabit switch. So it's big deal, but it's
Really,
it
gigabit
works.
is really only locally relevant,
Yeah.
relevant, I should
Yep.
say. So it's between machines, backups, and sharing files and so on.
Yeah, and I do see, I mean, I remember Mike was saying, oh boy, you see a big difference. And that's after all I did was I changed the main one, and I didn't see much. But that's because there were bottlenecks along the network where there was only 100 megabit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, once you step back and you look at the whole thing, said, oh, wait, there's this one here, and there's this one here, and there's that one there, and they are standing in my way. I did have to make a few new cables. I used the Cat 6 Ethernet cable. So I had to, it's weird. My machine, the old XP, the patch cord from the machine to the switch only used 3 or 4 wires. That's it. I've never seen something like that. And this was a factory made. It wasn't one that somebody pressed on.
This came with what?
Who knows what it came with? I mean, it's been there for years.
Because really, Ethernet only uses 2 pair. So.
Well, so that must be what it was. And it was kind of on the thin side. So that's strange. I mean,
that'll definitely slow the electron. If the cable's too thin, then the electrons can't fit through it easily. So it has to push harder.
Right. I saw that in some places it was kind of bubbling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But boy,
melting.
Cat 6 cable is hard to work with. It is so thick.
No, it's got the twists built in.
It's got the twists.
Cable.
And it's not just the wires inside. There is
It's in the sheath itself. There's a divider in the sheath.
Yeah, there's a divider. It's like an X that each channel
and that's to prevent crosstalk, because the cables, as they're wound around each other, they can, if you have cables that are aligned straight to each other, you can have more crosstalk, which is essentially the signal, the energy from the wire affecting the wire next to it and creating issues. So the way they twist it, it helps disperse the energy in such a way that you don't get interference between the adjacent wires.
Right, and it makes it a lot more rigid. It makes the wire a lot more rigid.
You can tell right away by looking at it. It looks different if it's stiffer, as you say. Yeah.
So so that's me and my week.
I have a question. Just it's not from outer space, but it's related to Google, specifically Hangouts. I mentioned when we started, and I've had trouble for weeks now, and I think Nick, you mentioned it too, that the toolbox and the lower third has not been working. And no matter whether I reinstall it.
Yeah, this was on my, it was weird. It was on my old computer. It wouldn't work. I'm pretty sure it works now, though. Let me. It works now. It was my old computer.
Oh, I did find where someone said that what they did was they went to their Google settings, they cleared all the history, including settings for apps. How do I clear Google history?
So if you go to click on the little like 3 bars for the settings, and if you go to history and then click clear browsing data, it'll show up a list of like 100 things.
This is only in Chrome?
Correct. This is a Chrome thing.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'm gonna look now. Clear history.
Hosted app data. I'm pretty sure it's hosted app data is what you're probably trying to clear.
All right, clear browsing data. Is that what them? I mean, when they say history, it's like I was thinking that it was. They said it's history for apps.
That may be the hosted app data. Then that would kind of make sense. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't know what that does though.
And they said that if you do that and then you reinstall the toolbox, it will work. That it's something is stopping it from working.
That's pretty bizarre, actually.
But that shouldn't have. Nick, the fact that you went to a new computer.
I don't know. It works
because those settings follow you. It
works. I have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine, Amnon.
Yeah, I searched on this and I found some very non-helpful answers, but I'd like to get that to work again. Well, someone suggested a different browser, and I'm like, well,
I tried that too. It didn't work. A different Google account will work though.
That might work.
Yeah, I had
I'll play with it another time.
Well,
different Google account worked for me.
But then you have to set it up for Google. No, you don't have to set it up for Google Plus.
Well, you got to load the Hangout. I think that what they were also saying was to not just to reload the toolbox, but to reinstall Hangouts. So what they're specifically saying is to clear the account, clear the apps, basically reset the account so no apps are loaded, and then reinstall Hangouts. It's not just the toolbox, it's the Hangout itself. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to try that, at least not right now. Okay, never mind.
Never mind. Mike, what's new and exciting?
Well, you got to be careful what you ask for.
Uh-oh.
The AT&T buried fiber in front of my house yesterday, and my yard was randomly selected as the one to have the box for the whole neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lucky you.
That is very, very good.
Right.
I mean,
Mike's not going to get AT&T fiber because he doesn't like them.
They put
I'm not sure I'm going to do it. I have no idea how big this box is going to be, but
it's about 4 foot tall, 4 by 4 by maybe 2 feet or maybe less than 2 feet.
4 by 4?
Yeah, it's about 4 by 4.
Well, if it's low to the ground, it's one thing, but they're putting it right in the middle of my yard, right in the middle of the right-of-way, not even on the edge of the
Okay, not
property.
in the middle of your yard, on the right-of-way.
Well, I know, but still right in the middle. If you stand there looking at my house, this box will be in the middle. It should be on the edge, and if they don't try to locate it toward the edge of the property line, I'm probably going to sue the town of Cary.
I would call the town of Cary and talk to them because over here they put it across the street from us, but it's right at the corner of the lot.
I mean, it's like we're the same place they put power and stuff. It's normally right on the edge of your property by the road.
Right, but they may not want to have to bother with it.
I mean, it makes I don't see how it makes a difference to them when it's the fiber is running.
Unless they can't dig there because of
that's
511.
Good point.
There may be natural gas there that was...
No, those are in a different spot because theirs are marked.
Okay, well then...
Actually, they don't have to dig. They already put the fiber there. So the fiber is...
Now they're putting the fiber there.
It's there.
He said they already put it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
The other stuff, they just put a pad and put the box on top of it.
Well, this one is not a pad. This one, they're digging at least 4 feet into the ground.
So, Mike, let me ask you a question.
Uh,
This is for my curiosity here. So let's say you said they put it in the middle of your yard, right? You sue the town of Cary. Under what grounds can you sue the town of Cary?
Well, I mean, that could be in some way considered a taking, an unconstitutional taking, because it diminishes my property value whenever they have less intrusive means of putting in these facilities. I can't object to them using the right of way, but I can object to them not doing it in a responsible fashion.
Did they ask you to place it there?
No,
I mean,
you don't have to.
Was it in the picture you posted yesterday? Does it show where they're putting it?
No, they haven't put it in yet.
But you
So
ask somebody.
they're probably just installing the box and the inner duct to run the fiber through, right?
No, they're direct buried the fiber.
Oh, wow.
And the box is looks like a septic tank, a small septic tank that they're going to bury in the right of the way right next to the curb. But then I did some looking online last night, and it looks like there is a box that's going to be mounted on top of that pedestal.
What
and
pedestal?
Again, if it's on the property line, there's on the edge, there's nothing I can do about it. But if it's in the middle where you look at my house and the first thing you see is this AT&T box, then gosh, that box might end up being a victim of car wrecks or something. You just don't know if they don't put it in the right place.
I mean, if they're going 4 foot in, it's almost like they're going to bury it.
They are going to bury it, but again, what I saw was a pedestal on top of this buried box.
What, can you go out and start ask them if there's going to be something on top of that thing?
No, they're gone.
Yeah, the box, what you see is the base, AMNON, and then they install the electronics above the ground. They won't have.
They can't. How do they get to it? Why? I mean, I don't understand why they would bury anything under and put any wires or anything in it, because they can't get to it. There's no way for them to get into it.
They can get inside this box and work on it.
Yeah, they pull off that top little pedestal thing, and then they open up the bottom of the box, and they can see 4 feet down into the box.
They went through my neighborhood a couple years ago, and they redid all the electrical connections. Everything had been in the ground, inside buried vaults, and they decided that having the electrical connections underground like that was not reliable, so they literally redid all of the underground connections and all of Apex Power, and went through and put in new pedestals, which sit roughly 2 feet high, and they're about 1 foot by 2 foot square.
Yeah, those are the typical power ones.
Yeah, so they're typical, and it's not a transformer. It's literally just just where they distribute the cables. Because the old system, we would have people would have problems. We had a problem where one of our legs of our power was flashing because the connection in the ground was bad from moisture. So they had to go through and redo it.
Mike, what they did here, I remember the neighbors across the street. There were there are 4 units, apartments, but this neighbor that they put it in front of theirs is actually owned it and lived there. And they went out there and talked to them, and next thing you knew, they planted bushes around it.
Well, I'm sure I'll end up getting screwed on the deal, but I'm going to go down fighting.
No, yeah, and if it's like you said, if it diminishes your property value. But then again, does the town of Cary really care?
Well, they make them run all the utilities underground because of looks. They won't let McDonald's and Burger King put up signs because of looks, but apparently it's okay to put these big boxes in neighborhoods if you're buddy with the right people. I mean, worst case scenario is I'll run for mayor.
You're gonna run for mayor for the town of Cary?
I could.
Would you win?
No.
Oh.
No, they'd research me talking on this show, and boy, the next thing you know, it'd be all over the newspaper. It was wacko from Cary wants to be mayor. We've already got a wacko now, but I would be a different kind of wacko.
So you're not excited?
Well, I mean, I really don't care because I'm not going to pay $120 a month for internet, as far as I know. I mean, I might change my mind, but I
How much are you paying now?
I'm paying $70, and most people are paying $50.
Well, see, you're lucky then, because my internet is like $120 a month for the 30 by 5.
I'd cancel it.
Well, what the hell am I going to do? Go to AT&T DSL and get, 3 megabits a second down and 0.07 up?
read a book.
Yeah.
Mike, the 120, and I didn't know it. Spence, you need to find out about UVerse, because Mike was saying that people in Apex have 1 gig already, and this was from back in January. There was some talk on DSL reports.
Not some talk. It's a guy in there who's been talking about it nonstop.
Yeah, no.
We have it in our neighborhood has service, but it's the individual houses and the wiring to individual houses that's not right. So my neighbor has it across the street, but there's no suitable cable to bring it to my house. They can't get the they need 2 pair to run it, and they cannot get 2 pair of sufficient quality to bring that across the street to my house. Until they have to drill under the street to put a new cable in, which I'm sure I'm not at the top of the list for that.
Wow, Brent just put a picture. This is not at all what this one looks like.
I hope the white one is the one that is the cable and not the gray one. The gray one should be electrical.
The white one doesn't look like the one across the street.
That big metal one is definitely electricity. Because we've got similar things. Wow, that yard is destroyed.
You think?
Yeah, that's a transformer. That's not just an electrical connection. That's the actual physical transformer.
These people really don't even have a front yard to start, though.
And the louvered thing is cable.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, look at the yard. Look at the house across the street. The fire hydrant's there. And you look all the way down the street, you can see another one, probably 4 houses down.
Well, a fire hydrant actually adds value to your house.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah.
Insurance-wise, yeah, that helps. It's helpful for homeowners insurance.
Look at this. 1, 2, 4 houses down, next to the yellow fire hydrant. You can see in between the tree. Looks like there's another huge gray box on that same side.
Yeah, they usually have maybe 2 or 3 houses off of each of these boxes.
That's huge. That's a huge box, though. Jeez.
Yeah. This replaces what used to be the transformer on the pole.
Do you think that yellow thing is a hydrant?
Sure it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Fire hydrant, yes.
That's weird that it's into the yard and not on the other side of the sidewalk.
It is in an odd place, but look at how far back the utility easement goes. It's on the other side of the curb, which is that's pretty far back.
And they may be planning on widening the street there, and that's why.
I don't know, but at least mine's going to be right at the curb. It's going to be right on the right of way. This is in the guy's yard here.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the one benefit, I guess, of yours.
It's always people don't realize that their property line ends probably 8 to 10 feet from the street.
Yeah, but see, they've even got the sidewalk here.
Yeah, it's a sidewalk is owned by the town.
Right, we don't have a sidewalk.
No, we don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they put something like that in my yard, I will be running for at least town council.
Now, so what about the white one, the left one? What if they put that in your yard? Would that bother you?
No, I mean I'm part of this not in my backyard stuff as well. Nobody wants this crap in your house, but you got to have it. I mean, it's technically you got to have it. They just need to be responsible about it, and
right. There are ways to put it in that it's not intrusive or the least intrusive.
The third one that he posted, I'm pretty sure, is not what we're talking about, Brent, because the box in front of my house is the box is gigantic. You know, the benefit is that it will be short run to my house to that box if I decide to do it. But if they put a 8-foot pedestal, 6-foot pedestal out there, I'd hate to think of what might happen to that sucker. I mean, that was just too exposed. They would need to move it to some place where it's not quite as exposed.
Mike, you'll complain, and they'll put in these giant 6-inch across poles to protect it
from getting hit by the vehicle.
and an armored
No,
wall around
They'll
it.
put the things that they've got in front of Target, the big red beach balls.
Oh yeah,
Right
yeah,
in your yard.
that would be good. You can paint them to look like globes.
There you go.
Well, unfortunately, it's the government. There's not much you can do, but you can always try.
Well, just wait, because net neutrality is going to mean that the internet won't do anything for us anyway, so won't want it.
Yeah, you just, I mean, that you, if I really believe that if you talk to them and bring it up, that they will do something about it.
I don't believe it, AMNON. They couldn't care less.
Yeah, man, you've got way too much hope.
It's in the ground already. It's too late.
No, they haven't buried it yet. It's sitting in my front yard.
Oh, I thought it was in there.
Have they already dug the hole?
No.
Okay. So then you still may have time.
Well,
again,
I'm not optimistic.
Is it a white box?
Yes.
Does it have a meter on one side or like a...
No. This thing, I have to go take. I don't know. Maybe I got.
No. I mean, did you go out there and look at it?
I know. I looked at it across the yard because I didn't know what they were doing at the time.
Because the box has to have a meter base on it because they have to hook electricity to it. So there is
if it's a repeater, it's got to have power.
This is not a repeater. This is the main one. They always come to it to...
Oh, I mean, they come into a neighborhood where they drop off a higher speed connection for distribution into the neighborhood.
Right.
So Mike's house is quite a ways into that neighborhood. That thing should be at the front of his neighborhood, not in front of his house. So this is probably
also a good
distribution point.
Yeah, but then a repeater or distribution will not be that big either.
That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised that it would be so. But the fact that they may not need to bring power to it depends. It would be interesting. I'd like to see the equipment, what manufacturer they're using for their network. Maybe I could find that.
But let me tell you something else, Mike. In the beginning, after they put it, you notice it every time you look. I don't notice it anymore.
Oh, I get that. But my neighbor has a power box in their yard. And it's not as big as this one here, but it's pretty large, but nobody pays any attention to it.
Right.
But again, my only real objection at this point, first, is I really don't know what it's going to look like when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking to the supervisor out there, and I'm saying, well, he said, yeah, we're going to have to bury that, and he didn't. And I started asking some questions, and he kind of got real quiet and didn't say too much. And I said, well, I may end up painting it green if you don't. He didn't say anything. Then after I did some looking, I realized that there's a good chance it's because I'm not going to like it at all. He was only telling me half the story. He was indicating it was all going to be below ground.
Now, does this box that you're looking at, does it look like it's an equipment box?
I'm going to give you a picture of it here in a minute because I don't know what it is.
You know, I mean, they do bury big boxes, what looks like a box, but it's metal, in the ground for ground. It's not just a rod that they drive in. I mean, on the side of the road here where they are developing, I was driving one day and they were just digging. I mean, a big hole right close to the street. And I said, I wonder what they're going to put there. And the next time I drove by, it looked like a heavy equipment truck bed. I mean, like a truck bed that holds gravel was sitting there on the ground. And they were burying it in the ground. And when I asked, they said, this is the ground for the complex. Let's see.
I looked up online what the system that AT&T uses, and it says the neighborhoods are served by what they call a serving area interface. And this is the picture they showed for the box that is the distribution point for a neighborhood.
Yeah, this is not what we have across the street.
Yeah.
This is a distribution for a lot. This looks like a telephone box.
It's a cross connect.
With
yeah,
a cross connect with a bunch of pairs.
This is in New Jersey, so I don't know.
That'll probably be at the beginning of the neighborhood, though, not at
That's
Mike's
what I'm
house.
saying. But well, this is copper, so I mean, unless you have fiber, are they going to bring it fiber right into your house, Mike, or is it just fiber to the street and copper to your house?
Eventually, it'll be to the house, and he said everyone would feed from that box.
So this is not then the appropriate box.
Does it look as big as that box?
AMNON, I'm going to give you a picture here in a minute.
Okay. But,
That's
so
probably, it's probably the just the base, the pedestal that the thing is, or if it's just, like I said, if it's just a fiber distribution network, and it could be just a little bit above the ground, because all you're doing is really having there's a concept called a PON, a passive optical network. It doesn't necessarily have to regenerate the signal. It can use passive technology to split the signal off to each individual home. Doesn't have to have active components in that close to the house necessarily.
Mike, that's a little tiny box.
Yeah, okay. You ought to see it.
It looks like it's not even 2 feet tall.
Well, it is. That's all the way across my yard.
That looks like an in-the-ground vault, because it looks like the top has a removable cover.
It is a removable cover.
Yeah, so that's going to sit in the ground.
Is it going to have a box on top of it?
Probably not, based on what the cover looks like.
So you might be lucky then, Mike.
Well, look, I don't care about that, because it's down in the right of way. They've got the right to do that, and I don't mind doing that. But what sort of upset me was when I did a little searching, I wasn't even looking, and saw some other boxes where they had a box mounted on a pedestal that looked exactly like the top of this unit.
Mm.
And that's full. That box is full of pedestals. They unloaded a bunch of pedestals in it, but I'm assuming that each house has to have a pedestal, or each few houses has to have a pedestal. On this picture, if you look at the tree on the left, just to the left of that tree, do you see those two green boxes?
Yeah.
That's where my telephone and cable come from. Telephone comes from, not cable. The tall one is telephone. My telephone copper wires go through that one.
Yeah, and the little short one's cable.
Yeah, but that's localized for across the street. My cable does not come through that pedestal.
Interesting, because we've got one in our yard, and it's the same size as that little one. And like because the winters are so bad, every like 4 or 5 years, Time wants to come out and re-put the adapters back on because moisture builds up on them, and the internet goes to crap real quick.
Mike, did they pour cement? Is that a cement box?
No,
bag over there?
It may be a cement box. I don't know what it's made of. I haven't looked at it that closely. But
you should go take. You know, Mike, I got a great idea. Go take the box and put it in your garage.
I don't have a garage.
Put it in your shed.
I don't have a shed.
Have them build a garage for you.
Put it in your studio. Bring it upstairs.
But you can see the fiber optic cable sticking out.
I thought you would be more excited, Mike. I really did.
Well, I just, you know what? I mean, your house is the biggest investment in your life for the most part, and when somebody comes along and plays games and has a great disregard for your property values, then it's aggravating. I'll guarantee you there's no box sitting in the yard of any mayor or town council person.
Well, I guess you have to see. If that thing's in the ground, it won't be a problem at all.
Yeah, if it's in the ground, I'm not concerned.
Now I see on the bottom left of it, I see what looks like the conduit for the fiber.
For the fiber, yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, the fiber will go into this box, and then it will be terminated, and that's where they'll.
I understand, but is that tube that's coming from the bottom left of it, as we look at it, is that what it is?
I don't think there's a tube sticking out the side of it. It looks like it in the picture, but as far as I know, it's just a box.
Because I was going to say, I don't know how.
Hey, Spence.
Yeah.
Can you share that picture? Can you put that up on your screen? So
which
one? The one of Mike's front yard, so people that aren't watching live. watch it after the fact.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
see it.
Yeah, give me a second.
No, anybody watching this on YouTube or whatever is gonna have absolutely, or watching it after is gonna have absolutely no
Yeah,
clue
that's
what we're
true.
talking
Well, then
about.
they need to be watching live.
No, we need to.
Yeah,
adjust
they
to
should
them.
be watching live. That's right.
Well, then don't put it up on YouTube.
No, I agree, Nick. Good idea.
I'm a millionaire podcaster, so
Are we all?
yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's a good point. What Brent said. It says too close to the road and easy to get hit. So it must be.
So there you go. Just click on Spence's video, AMNON, so it's permanently up there and Mike can talk or whatever.
1, 2, 3. I'll keep talking. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, if when you made it big, I mean, if you clicked on the link itself, you could see there was something at the bottom. So that's, but yeah, this is right at the edge of the road.
Well, that actually makes for a good point that
Yeah.
if it's that close to the road, there's a good chance it's going to be totally buried.
Yep.
Because
But
I
now,
mean,
Mike-
they said it's going to be right at the curb.
Now, Mike, you see where that guy is standing by that other dirt pile? If the box was buried there, would you have less of a problem?
I don't know where you're talking about.
To the right of the tree on the right, there's a guy
Yeah.
standing there. What if the box was buried over there?
Well, that would be even better because it's closer to the property line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if it was like 6 feet to the right, you really wouldn't have much of a problem, even if it came out.
I mean, they're going to bury it probably to the right of where it's sitting because they didn't sit it where they're going to dig.
Mm-hmm.
They just unloaded it from the trailer.
So I wonder if they are going to put it where that guy is standing.
I don't know. I mean, could be. It may be that they sort of marked it off, and they may be going to put it right where it's sitting because they were digging. They had a guy out there with a white hat on who was different from the other guys who was digging some holes. I wasn't sure what he was digging, but I don't know. We'll just have to see.
You know what you should have done, Mike? You should put a webcam up
Nah, I don't care that
for
much.
them to live stream the installation. Now, are they not running the fiber on the other side of the street? It's just on your side?
Yeah, that's how they do it, and then they actually cut under the street with what they call a mouse drill, and they
call it a torpedo.
torpedo.
This is what they're really going to put out front of Mike's house.
Right. I mean, if they do what Jim posted, then so be it. But this box is bigger than that.
But this is going to be they're going to take down the houses across the street from you, Mike, and put this up.
Yeah, well. I'll put the house on eBay.
eBay home.
Yeah, that's right, on eBay. All right.
You get to choose the colors, though. They can say they'll give you some selection there. What color would you like?
So I would like to talk to Mike more about why he wouldn't be switching.
Why?
Well,
go over what plans do they offer?
I have no idea.
Well, Amnon, you've got.
I cannot
what do they
get
offer?
Gigapower yet.
Mike's not getting Gigapower.
Well,
yet,
no.
is he?
The thing is, if they are today, they're doing it because of Gigapower. If they're
So Mike
adding,
will be able to get Gigapower.
he could,
Yes.
and that's the $120. But
Okay.
the $120, as far as I'm concerned, is for a package. That's how it is in the other cities that have Gigapower.
Mm-hmm.
On DSL reports, yeah, the guy said that his internet's $120 and he was happy about it and so forth, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I mean, if that was me, the first thing I would say is, okay, I don't need a gigabit. I mean, 100 or 200 is enough for me. How much?
Well,
Look,
what do you have?
I have with Uverse, it's 45 by 5.
Okay.
That's what it is supposed to be. It's normally running 50 by 6.
My office just got an offer to upgrade our TWs. What speeds, Jim? That's interesting.
Now, that's UVerse. Then DSL is different than UVerse.
So what is Mike? So they're installing fiber on Mike Street. So is he going to have Gigapower when it's done being installed, or is he going to have the regular UVerse?
Both.
So okay, so it's not like one of those things where they're installing it and they're going to say, well, you know, a year and a half from now you'll have Gigapower.
Well, who knows how long it'll be? You ask different people, you get different answers. I asked when I called this number and asked them, I said, how soon would it be lit up? She said, oh, immediately, which I said, what does that mean? A month? She said, well, less than that. And
yeah, that's just, they told me that I could get the 300 and
they're just talking. So, and then I asked this guy who spoke English, and asked him, I said, how long? He said, I really don't know. He said, we're not responsible for that. He said, what I can tell you is that they're telling us to get it done now. They're pushing us. He said they're working 6 days a week because these guys are paid by the foot to get the work done. And then I said, are they going to work Sunday? He said, no. He said, we only do 6 days a week. I said, would they if they were allowed to? He said, oh, absolutely. These guys are from Guatemala, and they're making about 60 grand a year with a shovel.
Mm.
Yeah, everybody's trying to scramble now with net neutrality that Google is going to be able to come in.
Well, why scramble? I mean, that's the savior of the internet, AMNON.
Who was telling me? Who's telling me? Oh, Ron was telling me that he was talking. They sold their house. They're moving into a townhouse temporarily until they find their house. And he has Time Warner now. And he was telling me that he talked with Time Warner. He's going to stay with Time Warner because of the mere fact that if he goes UVerse, which he has in the new where the apartments are, he's going to have to sign a contract a year. With Time Warner, it's month to month. But he said that the lady he was talking with was telling him that by the end of this year, they're going to upgrade everybody to 200 and 300. Remember what they were talking about, doubling the speed, Mike?
Right, and that's well established on DSL reports, but what they're not talking about is upload speed. The other thing that they're not telling you is they're doing it incrementally. What happened was, as Charles was talking about, they're actually, some people were rebooting their modems and getting 100 megabit download speeds day before yesterday in Greensboro, Charlotte, Raleigh areas. And what happened was these guys were all ecstatic because they'd gotten the upload speed, the upgrade. And then yesterday morning, they started doing speed tests again, and it was back to the old speeds.
We were talking, Ron and me were talking about this, and we're talking about the fact that, now if you have Gigapower and you have 300 megabits, somebody can run a server from their home and get into business. And I mean, I'll be left in the dust.
Except for one thing.
Okay, what is the thing?
Well,
that's all.
Let me backtrack a moment. On Time Warner, I don't know what the number is, but on the word has it that on AT&T there's a 1 terabit cap.
Well, right now it's 250, so maybe it will be a terabyte.
Yeah, terabyte.
I know that the terms of use say that you cannot run a server from home.
Right, and I never would anyway, but some people...
No, but I mean, some people would, and that is probably why they're not doing high-speed upload. I don't know. But here, Jim is saying Time Warner Max is 300 by 20. I would have no problem with 10 up.
Well, you say that, and then in 6 months, we got this dramatic, slow service.
Yeah. But really, for your average person, I would say for 95% of the population, the down speed is what counts.
Right. Well,
the people that telecommute, people that do stuff like that, yeah, the up speed is important.
What about how many people do online backups?
True, but again, they're doing it with 1.5 megabit now or 5 megabits now. This is done sort of like, at night or whenever. You don't. Sure, it'll be nice to just shoop, it's done, but it's not something that is going to. Would you pay more money for more up speed just in order to do your backup faster? I don't think so.
No, but that's kind of a silly question, because you don't do just one thing on the internet, but that's probably the most important upload requirement for the average user. But the other question you need to ask in addition to that is what other capabilities would become useful with the available upload speed. If we had that speed, then what other uses would be available now?
Tell me, what do you think? I mean, you brought up
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know what other. My suggestion is just like anyone who says torrent, that's automatically a bad word, because people are suggesting that torrent is nothing but stealing or illegal, and that's just not true. There was a file that I forget which one it was now, some file I wanted to download, totally legitimate file, I forget where it came from, and it's a 4 gigabyte file because it's actually a DVD. It's installation. It's I don't know if it was a simulation package or maybe it was a schematic design capture package with library. I forget what it was, but one of the options available to download it was torrent. There was this XX South by Southwest they would down in Texas they have every year. They do local recordings of bands. They are authorized to release these recordings to the public, and it's a multi-gigabyte file, and they make them available by torrent. It's a totally legal way to do things. So anyway, all I'm suggesting is that just because you can run a server with high upload speed, that does not mean that you are going to be running a server just because you get high upload speed. I'm not going to be running a server.
I understand. If you were asking me a little while ago what are torrents used for, I would have said it's for pirating, but it's not true. Sure, it is a legitimate way of moving files efficiently, which was never used or never publicized that it was used by legitimate users. Everything you always heard about torrents was to get music, to get pirated software. Well, I can say, cars are a legal thing to drive. It's illegal to use it for crime. And the fact that a lot of people are being, you talk like guns. Hey, let's go farther. Guns kill people, right? No. So the thing is, yes, if you need to sit there and upload a lot, and you're waiting for the upload to finish so you can do something with it, then yes, the faster it is, the better.
Let me ask you this, AMNON.
Yeah.
How many people, and you may not know the answer to this, but I do, how many people are on the internet whining, griping, complaining about Skype being unpredictable and inconsistent because it cuts out their dropouts, and well, boy, Skype's just no good. It's just no good.
Right.
Skype is is excellent when the internet connection is good. In almost every case that I've investigated to help people out, it's because they have slow upload, and they may have carbonite running in the background, or somebody in the background is doing something on the internet. In almost every case, it's because of insufficient bandwidth, which is not Skype's fault. It needs a certain amount of bandwidth to operate.
Right.
If you don't have the bandwidth, you can't use Skype. If you have bad bandwidth, you can't use Skype reliably. And what I'm telling you is that a lot of the problems that people run into are very likely related to limited upload speeds. And I'm thinking in particular about the one weekly show that I'm working with a guy. He uses Skype from his house to call a radio station. And at the radio station, occasionally he'll start having a Skype issue, and then I can contact the radio station and say, you guys need to stop uploading stuff at the station during this 15-30-minute show. Oh yeah, we forgot. And then they stop it and the problem clears up. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who have issues with upload. They don't even realize it.
I understand, and I don't argue that. And good morning, Steve.
Good morning, boys and girls.
Well, there he is. But the good news is net neutrality fixes all that, so we're just wasting our time talking about it.
Yeah. See, here's Jim is saying $65 a month for 300 by 20 home service from Time Warner Cable. Heck, we're paying more than that now for 30 by 5.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying almost double that for 30 by 5.
Yeah. So I do believe that this is when they look at competition. If there is competition in town, and in New York you have Fios and you have Time Warner, and I don't know who else you have, but when they see that, they have to come down, just like they did in Kansas City, just like they're doing in Austin. They have to drop it in order to hang on to their customers or gain new customers. They have to show, okay, here, this is how much it is. And the $64.99, the $70 or $65 did not come out of somebody's sleeve. They probably look at how much these people charge and how much these people charge. Okay, in order for us to stay competitive, we're going to have to charge that much. And that's what competition does. So, yeah, you don't have any competition in your area right now, Nick. So you paying
But that's not 100% true.
Who do you have?
Fios is rolling out still.
Order it.
Not in my neighborhood. For example,
That's it. That's the point.
No, but everybody else has it. The reason we don't have it yet is because we're underground. All of our cables are underground, and we're obviously not a high priority. But for example, Felicia went from having DSL to Fios.
And
They're
how
rolling
much?
it down.
How much do you know the charges?
No, I have no clue what the charges are. But the
Okay.
fact is, Fios is still rolling out. I mean, there's a big connecting street that she lives off
Yeah,
of.
but I mean, they know, just like you know that you don't have it. They know that you don't have it. And if
I
you
know,
don't,
but the Time Warner speeds are throughout the entire area. Fios is drastically still rolling out.
yeah. But that's it. I mean, if you have competition that you can tell them, forget it, I'm going to go with that. Because this is when I got Time Warner to lower our fees, is when I told them, well, I'm just going to go Uverse. And they knew that I can. And they said, okay, well, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll drop it, and blah, blah, blah. Before that, they wouldn't even talk to you. But this is why they're doing it now with all the higher speeds. Suddenly they can do 100 or 200 or 300. No, they were able to do that forever. But they wouldn't have, they didn't because they didn't have to.
Well, I just made a post on DSL reports about the 300 megabit update, so we'll see if anybody that works for Time Warner will give me any useful information.
So Manhattan does not have Fios, Jim says. So is it
they're
only
only
Time Warner?
Correct.
Wow. I guess I'm wrong about this then. Because that's something that, I mean, if there's no competition, then make more money, just like they're doing here. Before Uverse came in. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens.
But I find it very interesting that FiOS is still doing updates, because I'm pretty sure I thought, and for the longest time, FiOS was done. They weren't rolling out anything. And I feel like the more and more I drive around now, every once in a while I drive by and I see, if I don't see the trucks, I see the huge spool of fiber laying in, you know, that big wooden spool laying on the side of the road. More and more. It's not every day, but, you know, I driving back and forth to work or whatever, I taking side streets, every once in a while I'm seeing a bunch of FiOS trucks in that big spool. So I don't know why they're expanding.
Didn't we read a story that's like a few weeks ago that FiOS now is completely out of it and they sold everything to somebody else? I remember something about it.
They could be upgrading too. They could be taking existing or expanding the fiber. It could be a whole other utility doing it.
Well, I don't know what it is, but I thought FiOS was done rolling out new fiber connections, but they still are. Because there's people that had DSL that are now getting Verizon FiOS.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best proof right there. If you said that they just got it.
Yeah, like, I mean, literally within the last 3 or 4 months. I mean, their internet was awful because it was DSL, and now it's FiOS.
Huh?
So it's interesting to see how they're still rolling out. I don't know why they would. I mean, there's no competition. Time Warner's not competition.
Right. Not
not
when
sure.
they're talking about speeds like that.
I wonder if somebody's pushing them. That's the only thing I can think of. Why would they spend the money to roll out?
That's because the government is going to roll out mandatory programming for every home. You'll have to watch the government channel.
It's going to be federal cable and movies, whatever.
1984.
State-run TV.
Yeah. And internet.
It's called CBS.
Come on, Mike.
Steve, what's happening at your end?
Oh, lots of wind and rain, and it's warming up though. It's getting warmer as things go on, but it's been a pretty quiet week, but more of a standard week for me.
Has there been any reaction in the UK to the story about net neutrality, what's happening in the US?
Yeah, I've seen mostly from America, from blogs and things like that. I've seen, but not really. No, there's been nothing sort of major outrage or whatever about it. The EU seems to be taking note of it, but not really saying anything that is markedly different to what's happening at the moment.
I don't remember which company it was, but there was a large U.S. company that originally was all for it until they saw the terms and conditions, and now it's like, no, we're not for this anymore. So it's starting to come out as they read the rules that were proposed by the FCC board as to how this would work, and now a lot of the proponents of it are changing their tune essentially, because they realize how obtrusive and controlling it's going to be. It's not going to make anything better for anybody except the government. So it's a misnomer to say net neutrality, because it really isn't neutral at all.
Time will tell.
Yeah, it's still early days yet, I think, and we don't even know the ins and outs of it completely yet. So as that comes to surface, we'll know more then.
It'll be much better when they turn it over, the control of it, to the UN. I think that'll be great.
Spence, you want to do the specials?
Actually, you read my mind. I was going to say I have to leave at 11 anyway, so that will be great.
Okay.
As do I.
All right, that's fine.
So, did you miss me?
It's already up there.
Nope, Spence, I took over.
Nick did a great job.
Yeah, now I was going to say, Nick, I meant to send you my PowerPoint template that I use.
Well, I took your, when I initially did it like 3 weeks or like a month ago or whatever, I just went to I downloaded the old specials and I just modeled it right directly after yours, so it's pretty much the same thing.
Nick did a really good job, but in answer to your question, yes, we did miss you, Spence.
That's what?
Nick did a really good job, but in answer to your question, yes, we did miss you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Looks like you have a lot more specials to work with than I did. It was a slow week last week.
I missed you guys for about 5 seconds. Sorry. Well, I take that back. I did think of you the Sunday morning. The first week I was gone, we were in a hotel going over to the ship to get on the ship. So I didn't have access or time. The second Sunday morning, we were literally just docking in Fort Lauderdale, and we were in transit getting off the ship at the time of the show. So I had no access, and I wasn't going to pay for, even if I did have time on the ship, there was no way I was going to pay the 70 cents a minute they charge for internet access.
It's awful. It's not even good internet.
AMNON, would you have paid for that so I could be on the show?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I went on a cruise, 5 years ago, and I went to their internet cafe. I spent like $6 and I couldn't even get my email to load. I mean, that's just how slow. Web email, I couldn't even get to load.
The last time I used it was several years ago, and I couldn't get my email to load, and I got a refund. I said, I can't, this is useless. I can't use it.
Yeah, I just sat there and it spun for like 4 minutes. I was like, oh, well, there's $6 down the drain.
It's better now than it was.
Okay, well.
I'd walk around the ship and you'd see a guy. I remember the first day at sea, we went to Bahamas the first day, and it was just through their kind of their beach where they have a little picnic thing. But then the first day at sea, the first full day at sea, there was a guy sitting there out on the deck. He had his iPhone and his tablet in his hand, and he's browsing. And I said, I hope you realize how much that's costing you.
He might be an executive at a company, and they're fronting the bill, so he doesn't care.
Probably. But it was amazing to see people standing there talking on their phone. And I said, do you have any international roaming rates, plus the ship has an access fee? So get ready.
Oh.
Amazing. Yep, their internet bill would be larger than their fare to get on the ship. So, and they also offer, this is interesting, I didn't realize it was going to happen this quickly. They now have a all-you-can-drink beverage plan.
Yes.
Used to be soft drinks, but now they have it for all drinks, any drink $10 and under. And it's $49 a day plus 15% gratuity. And some people, we were sitting different nights, we'd sit with different people to eat. And, oh, it's well worth it. Oh, yes, we added up how much we'd spend every day on it. And I'm thinking, you spend how much per day on drinks? $50 a piece? You know, and
Andrew will spend that an hour.
Well, for people like Andrew, it's great. It's a great deal then, I guess. But that would be $50 a day times 7 times 2 people.
Andrew will spend that much in a night just for himself.
Wait. I think you missed what Spence said. Drinks that are $10 or less are included in this. Yeah. So that means no alcohol, probably.
No, they were alcohol. You like a glass of wine is $7. A beer is like $5 to $8 depending on the beer. Foo drinks like pina colada and things like that are $7 or $8.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
What about a mudslide?
Yeah, so Andrew will
just
have
soft drinks. They include lemonade and iced tea for free in the buffet. But you buy a Coke, it's $3. Yep. So in some cases, it's worth it. But for some people, I mean, if I bought one alcoholic drink a day, that was a lot. There were some days I didn't buy any.
What you do is if you go with a group of people, one person buys the plan, and then one person gets drinks for everybody.
Not going to happen. They check.
They do not.
They check. Yep. You have I asked people, says, oh yeah, they want to know, they make sure it's you. They want to see your ship card.
No. The one person, I'm saying, you're the one that gets the drinks for everybody, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, I guess you could try that. See how
Because
that
when
would
we went on ours, we got soda plan for one person, and then the one person just went and got. We had like 8 people that went, and then that one person just got drinks for everybody.
That's really unique. They've probably never heard of that one before.
Well, they don't care.
Oh, yeah.
What are they going to do? Challenge you? Oh, you just had one. Okay.
They charge the Princess is interesting because they actually have an allowance for wine to bring wine on the ship. It's the only thing you can bring. Can't bring beer or liquor, but you can bring one 750-liter bottle of wine per person onto the ship, and they won't ding you for it. But if you bring 2 bottles, it's a $15 per bottle corkage fee.
Yep, the corkage fee.
So it's like, yeah, well, oh well.
All right.
That's why we don't drink on the ship. All right, so
it's already up there.
Specials for March 8th, 2015. We start with Office Depot and Office Max. We have an HP Pavilion 17 laptop, 1 terabyte hard drive, 6 gig memory. This is an AMD A8 true quad-core processor, $399, and that's $230 off the regular price. So that's both an instant rebate and a mail-in rebate to come up with that $399 price. Brother MFC L2700DW compact laser printer. This is a printer, scanner, fax, copier. Comes with 35-page document feeder, and this is the one that it's really nice for a small office. I have a similar one. It's a much older model, but it does a great job with scanning multiple documents at once. If you have Acrobat Pro, you can use a scanner like this to scan documents, and it just does a great job. $149, that's $50 off, and it does support wireless and automatic two-sided printing. HP Envy 7640, wireless print, copy, fax, and scan for $149, that's $50 off. Epson Expression Home XP410, this is a small form factor inkjet printer for $69.99, save $30. I still can't get over how they can sell a Windows 8 tablet for this price. HP Stream 7-inch tablet, 32 gig of memory, Windows 8.1 for $99. I mean, the license alone for Windows when it first came out was more than this. So I guess Microsoft really dropped their prices on the core operating system. APC Backup UPS. This is a 600 VA battery backup unit for $64.99. That's $10 off the regular price. HP Pavilion 2-in-1 laptop computer. Touchscreen. This is also a tablet. I think the screen folds. I don't think it detaches from the keyboard because I think the processor's in the base. But you can flip it around, use it as a tablet. 13.3-inch screen for $469. That's $160 off. That's got an A8 true quad-core processor. Toshiba 1 terabyte portable hard drive, USB, $64.99, save $10. They have a 2 terabyte for $99.99, save $20. Toshiba 3 terabyte external USB 3.0 desktop drive, 3 terabytes for $109.99, save $10. 4 terabytes, God, 4 terabytes, $149.99, save $20. 5 terabytes for $189.99, save $20. Samsung 21.5-inch LED monitor for $119.99, save $30. Acer 27-inch LED monitor, $169.99, save $80. That is a huge monitor. That's the biggest standard monitor I've ever seen. Brother, wireless printer, copier, scanner, fax machine. This is an inkjet J470DW, two-sided automatic printing, wireless, $69.99, save $30. HP desktop quad-core A4. This is just a desktop computer by itself, 4 gig of memory, 500 gig hard drive, Windows 8 for $249.99, save $80. And finally, they've got Lexar micro SDHC cards or SDHC cards, class 10, 16 gig for $14.99, 32 gig for $28.99, 64 gig for $49.99. And it's something you don't see very often, a good sale on DVDs, and I'm starting to run low. I'm going to have to buy a sleeve of these soon. DVD plus or minus R, recordable media, 100-pack for $29.99, say 15. Remember when they used to have AMNON these for like $9.99 for 100?
Yeah.
Those are the days. Well,
yeah.
Not that popular anymore, but you still do need them. And I don't burn many regular CDs anymore, mostly DVDs. And that is it for Office Depot Office Max. Next we have Staples, and they've got the Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 7-inch, $149.99, save $50. That's 8 gig storage. That doesn't seem like a lot. Nick, would that be adequate? 8 gig for a basic tablet? No, he's not there. Well, I wonder, but HP laptop Core i3. This is a 15.6-inch machine. $379.99, save $220. Dell touchscreen laptop with Core i5 processor, 14-inch, $569.99, save $180. You can get a Dell laptop bundle. This comes with an AMD A6, $482.69 comes with the laptop. It's a touchscreen laptop. It comes with a year of Office 365 and a few other goodies, a mouse, a USB flash drive, and a sleeve. Actually, if you look at it, the laptop only sale price is $399.99. So for $82 or so, you get these other add-ons. Do the math whether it's actually worth it, but not a bad deal on an A6 touchscreen for $399.99. We have Brother HL L232D, 2320D, I'm sorry, mono laser printer. Now this is not a wireless machine. It's USB Connect, but it does support two-sided printing. That's what the D is at the end of the product number. $69.99, save $50. If you want to upgrade to wireless, they have the same printer for $109.99, save $40. Brother MFC L2700DW. This is a wireless all-in-one printer, scanner, fax, copier. This is essentially the same one I described from Office Depot Office Max. $149.99, save $50. And wireless color laser printer from Brother HL3170CDW, duplex and wireless included, $199.99, save $80. They've got an AT&T DECT 6.0 expandable cordless phone system with digital answering machine, $59, save $30.
They work great.
They do. The DECT frequencies do not interfere with Wi-Fi, which is nice. So there's no issues with 2.4 and 5 gigahertz wireless frequencies with these phones. Mm-hmm. I have some in my house. Work very well. Logitech MK520 wireless keyboard and mouse set, $39.99, save $20. AOC 24-inch LED monitor for $129.99, save $50. Now I did put on here staplesonly.com, so this is not a store item. You have to order it, but you can get free shipping, I think, with this price. Epson Expression XP410 wireless small-in-one printer, inkjet printer, for $59.99, save $40. Epson Workforce DS30 portable scanner, USB powered, $89.99, save $60. Canon color wireless laser printer, $159.99, save $120. We've got the I actually wiped out the description of this one. Sorry, I kind of overlapped things. This is the 5560 HP Envy inkjet printer. This is the one that I purchased several months ago. It's $119.99, save $30. I've got a PNY 2200 milliamp power pack. This is will charge one mobile device, say one phone charge. These are really handy if you're out on the road, don't have a phone charger in your car, you're somewhere remote where you drain your battery quick. $9.99. It's good to have in your kit for travel. Netgear Ready NAS hard drive enclosure. I think it holds 2 drives. $129.99, save 20. Memorex Slim DVD reader writer, external USB connection, $39.99, save 15. Western Digital, my book, desktop hard drive, 3 terabytes for $119.99, save 10. 4 terabytes for $139.99, save 30. And finally, a little cool little device here, JLab's Crusher Bluetooth speaker set system for $49.99. That's 30 off the regular price. That is all at Staples. And finally, we go to Best Buy. They've got an HP 14-inch Chromebook with the NVIDIA Tegra K1 processor, $269.99, save 30 bucks. HP Stream 13.3-inch touchscreen laptop with Intel Celeron, $279.99. Asus Flip 2-in-1 13.3-inch touchscreen laptop with a Core i3 processor, $499.99. That's 100 off the regular price. Acer 19.5-inch LED HD monitor, $89.99, save 40. Acer 23-inch IPS LED monitor for $149.99, save 30 bucks. A Seagate Backup Plus 2 terabyte external USB 3.0 portable hard drive for $99.99, save 30. Western Digital Mainstream 1 terabyte internal SATA drive. That's a 3.5-inch form factor for $49.99, save 10. Good if you want to do backups inside the same machine. I do internal and external backups. I have a spare drive in one machine that I'll write either from Acronis or just do drag and drop copying. An inexpensive way to do that.
Yep, it
50
works.
bucks. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It works.
Yeah, it works. It's good. It's always good to have multiple backups. Western Digital Ultra 1 terabyte external USB hard drive for $69.99, save 30. I can't express how important it is to have some kind of backup, and I've run into several people in the last few months who don't back up at all. And I've taken some of them by the hand to the store and bought one of these drives and set it up for them to say, you must do this. Now, I can't make them plug it in, but at least they've got it. APC 700 VA battery backup unit, $74.99, save 25 bucks. Logitech MK550, this is their high-end wireless wave keyboard and mouse for $54.99, save 25. That's a good price on that keyboard. That is a media keyboard with lots of extra programmable options on it. And AMNON, this is for you. I figured you need something to make your week interesting. This is a very highly rated product. This is the Samsung 65-inch curved screen.
Yeah.
2160p, 4K ready, Ultra HD TV. Only $21.99.
Oh,
that's
where is that?
2,100. That's it.
Where is that?
$1,000 off.
I wonder if
It's
they have it in
available.
stock.
I installed a 55-inch one of these in someone's house. Put a
Boy.
bracket over a brick fireplace. Installed one of these on a very nice articulating arm with the Samsung. Oh, I take it back. It's a Sharp. It wasn't a Samsung, but it was still a curved screen. Had the built-in Sharp sound bar that matched the television. Really slick setup. Very nice. Some high dollars. You're getting 4K. Not a lot of 4K content out there. No Netflix, I should say, is doing it. But want to prepare for the future. And finally, one more interesting device. And the only reason I put this up there, it's not a big sale. It's a Netgear AC750 wireless range extender. You plug this in, it gets power from the wall, and it will actually take both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz signals from Wi-Fi and amplify them. What it does have, which is why I put it up here and I like it, is it's got an external, it's got an Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet port on it. So if you have a device such as a Blu-ray player, television, something like that, that you need to connect to your network, and you don't want to pay for their Wi-Fi adapter, or it doesn't have one, it just has Ethernet, you can plug that device directly into this box, and it will act as a Wi-Fi to Ethernet converter, as well as being a range extender.
That's
So
why it's expensive.
nice combination. $76.99, which is $13 off the regular price. And that is it for today, for March 8th, 2015.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I've yet to see all that stuff show up at my doorstep,
I know.
though. I was hoping somebody would say, you know, he does such a good job at that. We're just going to order one of each of these things and just send it to him.
Oh, yeah. I got my... people ordered me a bunch of stuff last week.
Oh, gee.
It was great.
They like you.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, well.
The $300 Toshiba laptop.
Nice.
All right.
So why don't you do a little tease for the 11 o'clock hour, Amnon?
Oh, tease?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see. Turn it on. The blue, unfortunately, doesn't show right because of the blue screen here. It's
Is that a smartwatch?
I like that watch, Amnon. It's got invisible sections to it. It's cool.
It's the Burg, BURG 16A. It's the according to what I was reading, the thing that sets it aside is it has its own SIM in there. So it is a cell phone by itself. And we found out last night how to actually make it pair with the cell phone so it can ring and you can answer it from here if your cell phone. But it only has like about.
Why would it need a SIM to do that?
Why do you need a SIM?
No, you wouldn't need a SIM to just pair it with the cell phone.
You don't. But the thing that it is a cell phone by itself. You have to pay for it, for the account. It's like you get a cell phone. This is a cell phone, Spence. I mean, you bring up the phone and you dial, and
so what provider do they operate through?
I think this is working with AT&T now. They put, I saw on the plans there, they had like $40-some a month for 1,500 minutes and $30 for I don't know how many, and then $20 a month, pay as you go, 10 cents a minute.
Now the question is, can you use it without the SIM card and just have it pair with your regular phone?
Probably. That's the same thing as not paying for the account.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but will it still function? Is the question.
I would imagine. I didn't take it apart yet. To take the SIM out, but we can ask him. But I mean, if you guys are leaving at 11, I'll ask him definitely.
Okay, yeah.
And,
I'll be able to stay a little bit
because I
later
mean,
than I thought, so.
you know, to have something and pay another $20 a month.
Or you're paying for another cell phone. You're paying for another number.
Well,
that's essentially what you're doing.
Well, the question is, can it replace your cell phone?
yeah, but it doesn't sound like it should.
But if it can, then that's a different ballgame.
Amnon, do you want to be hip?
Do I want what?
If you want to be hip,
He doesn't know what that means.
you got to have it. It doesn't matter what it costs.
Nah.
You got to be hip.
Mike, tell him what he needs to do if he can't afford it.
Say what?
It's
What if
also
I can't afford it?
it's also an FM radio.
No,
This
it's not.
internet,
Full of
this hangout's cutting out so bad. I haven't heard it, but about 4 words have been said out of the last 100.
This is also an FM radio.
You're full of it.
The
There's no
thing
way.
is, you can only listen to it through earbuds, and the earbuds are micro. Is it the micro USB or the mini USB, like the regular charger? It's not the right.
Is it seriously an FM radio?
Yeah, but it will not play. I mean, it will not play on its own speaker. You have to have earbuds.
Hmm.
Now, it came The way that it came, where is it? It's very interesting. It came with different faces. So right now you see it, it's chrome. You can make it look white. You can make it look blue. You can make it look, they have a whole slew of colors. It came with 2 of them. It came with 2 different bands, or 3. One is leather, and then you have a blue one and a white one that you can change, and even the tool to press the things in. It came with its own earbuds. It came with a Bluetooth earbud. It has a bunch of stuff in it.
So you can pair to it with a Bluetooth headphones, and
Yes.
it also will pair via Bluetooth to a smartphone?
Correct. It took, you know what? It took Kathy to figure that out. The manual, I mean, it has a feature on it that says 2-way communications.
Yeah.
Well, 2-way communications to me means something like, you can talk from one phone to the other, from one of those to the other.
It says Bluetooth 2-way communication.
Well, that's not what it says here, and the manual doesn't. I mean, the manual is.
It says right here on Amazon. It says.
Okay, well.
Bluetooth 3.0 2-way communication.
Over here, on the thing itself, and it's what I was looking at. It says. Where is it? Now I don't see it. It said two-way communications. It did not say anything about Bluetooth or any of that. I said, okay, I mean, I don't care about that. Oh, yeah. Two-way communication. Turns out that was how you pair it. I mean, the manual for the thing is right here. It's really like nothing. It says quick starter guide, but
well, that is not a manual.
Well, that's all it had in it.
How's the battery life?
It did not last that long, even though I saw some reviews that said that it's supposed to last 3 days.
There was a
maybe
report
because
I read about the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Some new details have been revealed about it, and they're saying that it has 5 hours of application time per day. So it'll last. Of course, it'll work longer than that, but you could use it for 5 hours. There was a lot of criticism. Oh, 5 hours, what good is that? Who wants a watch that only lasts 5 hours? Well, that's Nick, 5 hours of using it straight through.
Nick, the one that you're using.
Yes.
How long the battery lasts?
Oh, Jesus. A week?
But that's in the beginning it probably did not last that long because you were playing with it a lot, right?
Well, yeah, but see the watch you have and the watch I have are 2 completely different things.
What do you mean?
The watch that I have, really the use of it is to show you your notifications.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not meant to act as it's not meant to act as a phone. That's why.
Yeah, this one has Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah,
two-way communications, messaging, phone calls, remote notifier, smart search, the settings. It has an alarm. It has a calendar, different profiles, file manager, calculator, audio player, image something, I can't read it, FM radio, video player, and audio.
Video player?
Video player, yeah.
Jesus.
And it's nice. It's the same as a phone. I mean, you just swipe it to go between the different options. So is there a phone out there? Is there a watch out there today that is a phone, by its own
Sony
power?
makes one. There's a bunch. Sony
Okay.
makes one. I'm pretty
All
sure.
right, so there's nothing special as far as that's concerned.
No, but the big problem with that is you're signing up for another.
Yeah, another
sensor.
account. I know.
Yeah.
I'm
not cheap.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything to this one that others don't have.
And not from looking at it on Amazon, it doesn't appear. It looks
Okay.
like another smartwatch.
And really,
but
on Amazon, it's $180 some.
Yeah.
On eBay, it's about 98, 92.
Tell you, it's bulky as hell, though.
What?
It's bulky.
Yeah, it is. It's big.
The thing is huge.
Yep.
But I mean, that's what you get.
A lot of functionality.
Yeah.
AMNON, there's one key question. Does it actually show the time?
Yes.
Oh, we forgot that.
Actually
we were putting all
has,
these other cool things in it. We forgot
it
about
actually has a different watches, and like you can have it like
watch
that.
faces.
Oh wait, no, shoot, watch faces.
Yeah.
Let's see if that will show. Yeah, see, that's analog. And
as a matter of interest, how many
swipe,
people in the chat room feel that one of these smart watches is a good thing that they'll be buying? I think it's just a fad, personally.
Well, I guess it depends. I think it depends on your situation. The reason I have a smartwatch is because I'm in school all day, and being able to use my phone is not something that's always permitted. So for me, having a smartwatch is a big deal. Because it allows me to check my phone notifications and see if I'm getting emails or whatever else throughout the day without having to pull my phone out. But if you're somebody that works in an office and, you can use your phone all day and whatever else.
But don't you think they'll eventually ban it like they have done with phones?
Well, they do. Like, for example, during test week, they read their disclaimer, no voice recorders and associated microphones or headsets, no watches capable of wireless communication. So they ban it for that stuff. But I've never had a teacher even realize that it's a smartwatch. They're so clueless. I mean,
well, it's still in its early days, I think, isn't it?
It is, but I've had it since last February. So I've been using it in school for over a year.
But you're ahead of the game when it comes to technology devices.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, for me, it's perfect because plus I've got the iPhone 6 Plus, so it's pretty hard to discreetly use my phone. But I've got, when there's breaking news, I get notifications for that. Sports stuff, I get notifications for that. Texts, emails, phone call, I get all those notifications, so it's nice.
How far can you get from your phone?
I can leave my phone upstairs in my room and go down in the kitchen. So
yeah, that doesn't. It didn't work with that. I mean, Spence, Kathy was in the living room on the chair, and I went into the studio, which everything is. No, there is a brick wall in between us, as a matter of fact. It did not work.
Yeah, no, I can have, my phone can be up here, and I can be in the kitchen and get notifications.
Is the kitchen right under your?
No.
Okay.
It's on the other side of the house.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll talk to him. We'll see what he says.
But mine is more of an there are like apps and stuff for it, but everything interfaces through the phone.
Now, the thing about it, and I don't know now what's the use of it, is you can download an app that will. There's an app for iOS and Android.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what is it going to do for me. I couldn't find information in it as far as what it actually what you put the app on the cell phone and then you can do some stuff. Don't know what it is. I guess I can ask him when he comes up.
Interesting.
We'll see. And the weird thing is, Their website doesn't work. You go to Burg and it has some links, but if you click on it, Burg smartwatch, it just says it has like a notice that it's used for something.
Hey, it's almost 11, so I'm going to say my goodbyes now.
All right, Spence.
Goodbye.
As am I.
All right.
Have a pleasant week, everybody.
You do the same thing.
Spence and Mike.
I'll see you.
You guys have fun.
See you guys later.
You too.
Bye.
I will definitely watch the interview when I have time.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good day.
Bye.
AMNON, I might have to jump out in the middle of the interview.
Okay. That's
I won't
fine.
say anything. I'll just leave.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. If you have to go, you go.
No, I'm just letting you know now.
Yeah.
So if I'm just disappear, it wasn't a problem with my internet or whatever. It's interesting. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I guess it depends what you want. I guess it depends what you want to do.
Do you make sure that every day when you go to school you have your watch on? I mean, you have it on now?
No, I don't. No, I don't have it on. I don't wear it on the weekends. I don't wear it on the weekends, or during the summer, really.
Do you have a watch on?
Do I have what?
Do you have a watch on?
No, I actually don't.
Okay.
This was the first. This is what got me to wear. I was never a watch person. I had watches. Never. I didn't like them. But now that I'm wearing this thing every day now.
Okay, I mean that's what I was wondering, if you even wear a watch.
No, I don't. Unless it's that, which I wear which I wear every day. I wear 5 days a week. And if I go out somewhere on the weekends, I wear it.
Okay.
Most of the time.
A lot more functionality in it than that suits the purpose than just telling the time.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
So the only reason,
and the other thing too, I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing, but driving it's useful.
Because
right? I mean, because I don't use my phone when I drive.
Yeah.
But if my phone goes off, I can just, I mean, my hand's on the steering wheel, so I literally just roll my wrist and I can look at my watch. And I'll have to fumble in my pocket for my phone to see, what is this, an email, or is this, and if somebody calling me with an emergency. It's two different things. So I can see if it's just, the Amazon giving me a daily deal update, or if it's my mother calling me. It's two completely different things. And it's nice that I can just roll my wrist and see what's going on instead of, driving down the highway trying to fumble in my pocket for the iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah, but then you have to have good.
There's a lot of good uses for it.
Good. You have to have good eyes, though.
The notifications are actually fairly. You can change the font size. I've got it on normal. You can make the font extremely large.
Hmm.
But it's nice because it's not distracting. I mean, it's like the same as you.
Yeah.
Seeing what frequently panning down at your radio to switch the preset.
Yeah, but
it's the same thing.
But you're right. I mean, it is bulky. I mean, look.
Let me go. Hold on. Let me go grab mine.
It's big. But I guess it's because it's got so much stuff in there. Can only squeeze it into so much.
Can you hold yours up to the camera again, like a side profile?
So you mean?
Yeah, so you can see how bulky it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's the difference. This is half the size.
Hold
again,
it straight up. I want to see how. No, the other way. I want to see the face of it. Yeah, it's just a tad wider than the band.
Yeah.
And this one is a bunch wider than the band.
Yeah, but again, there's a
lot more crammed into it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like I've got for ESPN, the sports thing, I've got the ESPN app on this watch. So when I open the ESPN app, it links to the two-way communication. It links to my phone, the API or whatever calls ESPN, but that's all being done on my phone, and then it transfers the data back to my watch. So that's that two-way communication. I open the ESPN app, the data gets downloaded on my phone, it displays on my watch.
Interesting.
So the technology is just Bluetooth. That there's no radio or anything in it. It's just it's just the watch, and that Bluetooth two-way communication is what makes it run. Without if I didn't have my phone, this watch is useless. It's just a watch face.
But you can leave the phone in your pocket and communicate with somebody who's calling you. Answer a call.
No. You cannot answer a call.
You cannot.
No. This is just like a terminal for the phone. It doesn't. There's no functionality.
Yeah. With this, if it's paired, you can actually answer the call and talk to the person on the cell phone.
Well, they're releasing a new Pebble, which is the one I have. It's called like the it's called the crap. What is the new one called? I don't remember, but there's a new Pebble coming out, and it's color. It's called the Pebble Time.
Yeah.
And it's a color watch, and with that you can answer a phone call, I believe.
So but still it's Wi-Fi Bluetooth talking to your.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just again just an interface. It is not
right.
But you can do, this one's a little bit thicker now because it looks a lot thicker. But it's got a microphone so you can do voice dictation and all that stuff.
Yeah. Actually, one of the question is, do you think it's a fad? I'm waiting to see what he says about that.
I don't. It's interesting. It's all your use case. AMNON, for you, having a smartwatch, pretty useless.
Yeah, I know.
You work from home and you sit in front of the computer at home.
Right.
For you needing a smartwatch, no, not really.
I actually asked Kathy. I said, "Would you use it? For what?" There's not much that she could say. It's. Yeah, I would use it but it's a fad thing, Yeah, I would use it for a while, and then I really thought that you laid yours aside and you're not using it anymore.
Nope. Every day for
it's interesting. It's interesting to know that.
But again, that may change once I get into 2 or 3 years from now when I get into the workforce. It may be something I need less and less. If I'm sitting in front of a computer all day, do I really need it? No. But then there's other. You look at Stephen Haywood. He works from home. He sits in front of the computer. He has a smartwatch. Mike Myers has a Pebble. He doesn't work from home every day, but he does sometimes. He's normally in front of a computer.
And they're actually using it.
And they are actually using it. So and I wear it when I'm home sometimes too. I don't necessarily take it off right directly when I get home.
Mm-hmm. But it's not something that it's not in the way or anything. When you wear it, it's just the watch,
Exactly. But it's not. There's a lot of cool things on it that you can do. Here, I'll turn mine on right now.
Yeah, Alan is saying teachers apparently clueless.
Well, teachers are clueless always. That's no difference. But you can change your music on here. There's no headphone jack, but you got a bunch of different watch faces, calendar, stopwatch. I've got a baseball score app. I've got a compass app. I've got a Foursquare app.
Yeah, this one you can put an SD up to 16 gig.
Yeah.
So I guess you could put some apps on it. That's what it's for.
But you could probably put music and stuff on it.
You can put music. You can put videos. Although, why would you want to sit there and watch a video?
But you can put music on it. That's one of the reasons that people use the iPod Nano over a smartwatch is because you can plug headphones into an iPod Nano.
Yeah,
you cannot plug headphones into the Pebble.
The thing is that I wish they put there's enough bulkiness to the unit to have a regular whatchamacallit, audio jack.
Headphone jack.
headphone jack.
You know, it's interesting. I'm looking at the Pebble right now. The time is an hour off. I don't even know how to change that.
Yeah,
It
and
does
that's
seem a bit strange that they put a micro USB on it instead of a standard headphone jack.
I think it's odd that they've got an SD card slot. I think that's very bizarre.
Is it SD or a micro SD?
Micro SD.
Yeah,
that's weird. I don't see why you wouldn't want a micro SD card on there. Why not just put internal storage?
right. I mean, how much is a 16 gig micro SD card?
I have no clue, but it's just
Roughly.
that.
What would it, 10, 20?
No, probably 15.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Why not just put it?
Exactly.
I agree. Design.
It gives you the option of having different things on different cards, I suppose.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, you're gonna fumble around with a micro SD card on your watch?
Well, they do it with phones. They do it with cameras and things like that.
True.
So.
I think who was saying? Remember what happened? Oh, Spence was saying. He said, "Remember what happened last time? We had a guest when the time changed." This guy is probably going to call in at 12 o'clock.
Well, you're not going to keep the show. Oh, wait.
Oh, no, wait a second. There is. Look, see, just talking about it. Hello.
Hi, yes, this is Stephen J. Are you
Hey,
waiting for a
Stephen.
phone call?
How are you?
All right, fine. I guess Karen had given me the wrong number, and I was dialing that for the last 10 minutes. And then I dug this one up out of an older email.
How interesting. Yeah, I was just saying that we were talking about the fact that last time we had a guest on the day that the time changed, they were an hour late. And I was just saying he's probably going to call at 12 o'clock, and bang, you rang.
So I was just about to give up.
No, good. I'm glad you didn't give up. So you're not watching us.
No, I'm not. I didn't know if you're are you on the radio or are you web-based? I'm not sure.
We are web-based, and we do it with video too. So we were talking about the watch for the last 20 minutes or so. But
okay.
let me Stephen, let me introduce you. Stephen J is Vice President of Marketing and PR for Burg, the smartwatch company. He is a luxury good branding expert specializing in marketing and public relations. Stephen possesses extensive knowledge in building and promoting prestigious brands. He has more than 13 years experience in the fine timepiece industry, having worked with such prestigious brands as Fortis, Gevril, Ferragamo, Versace, and Croton. He is a natural out-of-the-box thinker, possessing an entrepreneurial spirit who is passionate about the brands he represents. Stephen J. was previously Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the Croton Group Timepiece Company and other fashion and timepiece companies. That's impressive, Stephen.
Yeah, sure. It sounds very impressive to me. I'd like to meet that guy. I don't know who he is.
So, tell us first of all, who is Burg?
So Burg is a company that was started by Herman Vandenberg. Herman Vandenberg is a world-renowned lifestyle designer and really a trend visionary. He has been designing furniture and displays for IKEA and Target and some other very well-known retail giants for more than 20 years. And back in 2009, he had a vision that within a few years, the cell phone technology would make its way into a timepiece. So he left the Netherlands, which is his homeland. He's Dutch, and he moved to China. He bought a factory, and he began his R&D into miniaturizing all of the smartphone technology to get it to work in a timepiece. So the thing that, that Herman really brings to the table is that, first and foremost, he is a luxury lifestyle designer who happens to also be a tech expert as well. So we're really bringing the both of best worlds to smartwatch technology.
All right, and just one more question that's in general. Is what do you think about the smartwatch category as a whole? Is it a fad, or is it here to stay?
You know what? Before I began working with Burg, I personally felt it was a fad because, as you had mentioned, I've been in the traditional timepiece industry for more than 13 years, and I am a person that loves aesthetically beautiful things, and I believe that the main reason why people wear timepieces is because of the emotions that it evokes when they put that watch on their wrist. They feel either sporty or cool or wealthy or aristocratic or sexy or beautiful, whatever it might be, but it's an extension of their personality and an extension of their emotion and their feeling. And that's what is any jewelry or watch. Really, that's what it's about. It's about an emotion that somebody feels. So I was thinking, everybody only has one wrist on their body that they're going to put a timepiece on. Why would somebody want to put a piece of technology on their wrist when they can wear a beautiful watch? And I was basing my assumption on the fact that all of the smartwatches that I have seen so far are produced by technology companies that do not have any experience at all in the luxury goods business, which is the industry that timepieces traditionally come from. So, that being said, when I met Herman and I learned his vision for smartwatches, he gets it and he understands that he needs to incorporate luxury and beauty, and has the experience to do so in his smartwatches that will, in effect, make somebody have the desire to remove their traditional timepiece from their wrist and want to put a Burg on their wrist, because a Burg not only looks beautiful and it creates an emotion that's luxury based, but it is also one of the most technologically advanced smartwatches on the market. So I see this becoming not only a product that people want to have because of the beautiful look of the watches or the handsome look of the watches, but because of how would I say, because of the assistance that it gives an individual to be able to have so much information right on your wrist. I mean, for example, the new watches they were coming out with in 2015 have incorporated in them 3G technology. It's on an Android 4.1 platform. We have everything packed in our watches. You can, from a Burg smartwatch, you can make calls not being tethered to your phone, because we are a company that produces smartwatches with SIM cards in them, so you don't have to connect via Bluetooth to your smartphone. So that really gives you great independence and freedom. And in addition, you can also text independently with a Burg smartwatch. We have health apps on the watch that monitors your sleeping, how many steps you've taken for the day, calories burned. We've miniaturized social media technologies so that you can actually Skype, Facebook, tweet from your smartwatch. We are in the process of incorporating smart home technology into the watch. whereby you'll be able to control your smart appliances and alarm systems from your Burg smartwatch. You'll be able to start your car, open your door lock. So I know that I've kind of run on your question, but the reason why I did so is to show you the reason why I believe that the smartwatch is here to stay and will eventually replace the traditional timepieces, because it's becoming such an integral part of people's lives to be able to have such a powerful device to help them right on their wrist.
Okay. With me here is Nick, one of my co-hosts. And Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, how are you?
And Nick has been wearing and using the Pebble.
Yes.
Nick?
Yeah, I've been using the Pebble for a little over a year now.
So we were kind of comparing the size and stuff, and the Pebble is a lot smaller. Now, with all the extra stuff that you're going to be adding, and I'm holding the 16A in my hand.
Right.
With all the extra stuff that's going to go in there, is it going to get even bigger?
It is not going to get bigger. As a matter of fact, I believe the 16A probably it's a square.
Yeah.
So it's probably about, I would say, about a 44, 45 millimeter, and that's where the watches will continue to stay. We actually are in production right now. They should be coming out within the next 4 to 8 weeks. Burg 24, a Burg 27 that has 3G technology in it. They are going to be maybe 2 or 3 millimeters larger in diameter, but quite honestly, that's what's really in fashion today, larger timepieces both for men and women. We are also introducing the world's first all stainless steel round smartwatch with all stainless steel bracelet that will be available both in yellow plated gold, rose gold. We're going to have Swarovski crystals on the bezels of the watches. So the sizing will remain the same. However, the beauty and the luxury element will go higher and higher, as well as the technology.
And I think that's the biggest problem is you've got, like you were saying before, you've got lots of people that would typically wear a Rolex or something like that, and they it's a status symbol or whatever you'd like to call it. How do you get them over to wearing a smartwatch like that? Is it the gold-plated, Apple's coming out with their watch soon, and they're coming out with the gold version of that. Is that the way to go to try to pull over some of those people that want a watch that, is some type of status symbol?
Well, most definitely, and that's, clearly the people at Apple are geniuses, and the whole world knows that. And they hired an executive from Burberry to come in and help them understand what the luxury market is all about. I don't believe other technology companies have done that, because Apple in of itself really revolutionized the computer and turned the computer into a luxury item. People want MacBook Pros and iPhones because they look at them not only as a technology device, but it became a luxury item. So I think, Apple will be able to bridge that gap. And I don't know if the other technology companies are anywhere near there right now, and if they want to continue to survive in this space, in this category, they're going to need to be able to make some quick moves and get some people on board that really understand about luxury and status. You know what, Nick? I think that people will always want to have their Rolex, but I believe the Rolexes, the IWCs, the Panerais, the mainstream big brand luxury timepieces that people now wear as status symbols will continue to be relevant for going out to a fancy dinner or, to a restaurant or something like that. But I think on a day-to-day basis, The smartwatches are going to slowly start to replace those traditional timepieces. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in a year from now we see Rolex coming out with a smartwatch, because if these companies want to continue to hold on to market share, they're going to have to move forward with the world and go into the technology sphere as well.
Yeah, and for sure, I have the original Pebble, and you can, I mean, you can tell that this, it's not an attractive watch at all. But I'm a teenager, and for me, having, you know, a big fancy watch doesn't mean anything to me. But I mean, this thing is literally just a rectangle with a plastic coating over it. It's not an attractive watch at all. So Pebble doesn't appear that they hired anybody, like you said, from the more mainstream watch development stuff to put any input into this watch at all. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about this watch. It's honestly an extremely ugly watch with a rubber band. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly, and I think that, you know, even if you look at the Samsung Gear, if you look at the Motorola watch, they all have the rubber straps on them. They're very tech looking, and they're going to have a challenge capturing the luxury market. And you know what? You know, even though you're a teenager, I'm sure that you have an appreciation for, you know, looking good, dressing well. You know, whether you're going out to a club or, you know, going out to dinner with your girlfriend or something like that, you want to dress nice and have something on your wrist that, you know, has the technology in there, has that power, has all the diversity of, you know, apps and options and everything, but it also looks good. And the first time I ever spoke to Herman Vandenberg, he had sent me a bunch of literature about his company and his vision and what he wants to do. And, you know, coming from the traditional timepiece industry, I said, Herman, you got to understand, the first thing that's got to be on your mind is you need to create watches that are beautiful, handsome, luxurious looking, if you're ever going to get people to take the traditional watch off their wrist. And he kind of laughed and he said, Steve, you know, that's who I am. That's what my background is. Mm-hmm. And if you ever met Herman, you'd kind of laugh, because he is probably the most outlandishly dressed guy you've ever seen. His hair is 2 different colors. He has all his clothes custom made and with the craziest colored shoes and suits and everything like that. This guy is all about fashion. He really gets it. And I think that, you know, he will ultimately be extremely successful once we get the 2015 watches out on the market. People are going to literally be blown away. You know, whether you're a guy that, you know, is athletic and likes to play sports, we've got the coolest, hippest looking sport watches coming out. If you're, you know, somebody that likes to be dressier, as I mentioned, we've got timepieces coming out with Swarovski crystals around the bezels and the gold plating and dual displaying clasps. And also, I'd just like to mention, you guys, I know that I'm talking a lot. You tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much, but there's also a very important Burg smartwatch that's coming out that if there are any parents listening on the show today, you should tune up your ears, because it's called the Burg 31. It's going to be debuting probably late July, early August for back to school. We produced this specifically for children and for seniors. The Burg 31 has a traditional analog dial on it, because we wouldn't want young children to be able to access the internet and, you know, stumble into things that they shouldn't be looking at or being in touch with. But it actually has a GPS tracking device in it. So when your child is wearing this watch, you can go onto Google Maps at any time of the day and see exactly where your child is. Moreover, there are 3 programmable buttons, C-dial buttons on the watch that I would assume, you know, a parent would probably type in, pre-program 911, mom's phone number and dad's phone number, so that if, you know, God forbid an emergency ever happens, they would be able to contact you, immediately, or if they'd be able to press the 911 button and, be able to get in touch with authorities.
Okay.
Also, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
No, we're going to have it for seniors as well, because, when people, it's a fact of life, people get older, and there comes a time when, an older person wants their independence. They want to live alone, but, they might fall, and we've all seen those old commercials with dependents, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. But, that creates a bit of a stigma for seniors, and they really don't enjoy wearing those things. So the Burg 31 is going to be produced for seniors as well, where they'll be able to wear a very attractive watch on their wrist that will also be an emergency device. If they do fall, they simply press their watch, and ambulances and the police will come immediately, or that they can press a button and just call their son and daughter and say, "Help! I need some help." So it's also a great feature for seniors as well.
Nice.
So the interesting thing with the smartwatch market right now is it seems like the people that are wearing them are nerds. They're tech nerds. Right? Those are the people that you see walking around with these things. So what is Burg trying to do to get regular consumers, parents, school teachers, people that aren't necessarily tech nerds into smartwatches?
It's a very, you're spot on in your observation. Really you see a lot of guys from Silicon Valley wearing these watches, and guys that are computer geeks, quote unquote, and stuff like that. Because, I guess traditionally we don't, we think of them as people that are more interested in valuing technology over fashion. But with Burg, it's really the best of both the worlds, again, because you've got a fashion designer, trend visionary that is the brainchild of this Burg called brand that really understands the importance of fashion and luxury. And if you go onto our website, we've got a whole list of all the new Burg smartwatches that are coming out in 2015, and you'll immediately see that these are smartwatches that are aesthetically pleasing to the eye, that have metal bracelets, stainless steel bracelets, mesh bracelets, leather straps, all different types of colors and options, and so I think that's really where we're going to be able to make inroads into the traditional timepiece market, where these other technology companies are way behind. So I think that really answers your question, is that there needs to be a crossover into fashion, and that's what really sets Burg apart, is that we are just not a technology company. Probably first, we're a fashion company that happens to have a technologically advanced smartwatch business.
All right. Hey, Steve, do you have any questions? Our Steve.
Well,
our Steve. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, he's not by the computer, I guess. Either that, Steve, or you're muted. No.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
no, I don't have any questions at the moment. It's interesting. Please carry on.
Okay. One other technical question came up when we were talking about it. Can the phone function? Can the watch function without the SIM, just via the Bluetooth to your cell phone?
Yes, it's an excellent question. It absolutely can. So,
okay.
Let me just do I have any more time?
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I just want to clarify, the Apple Watch that's coming out, as well as the Samsung Gear, and probably every Motorola, every other major branded smartwatch must be Bluetooth paired to your cell phone in order to make and receive phone calls and texts. The Burg 16A that you're wearing, that's actually available for purchase on Amazon.com, and all of the Burg smartwatches have a SIM card receptacle in the back of the watch that allows it to make phone calls and send and receive text independently without being paired via Bluetooth to your smartphone. So if you want to, you don't want to carry a bulky smartphone around, your iPhone 6 Plus or whatever it might be, you can leave that home and be able to have calls received or sent by your Burg smartwatch. If you don't have a SIM card in your Burg smartwatch, as long as it's powered on, you can still pair it via Bluetooth to your Android or your iPhone and be able to receive and make calls as long as it's tethered, because your phone is acting as, clearly the device that is transmitting the communication.
Okay. So that answered that question, Nick.
Yep.
Let me ask you something else. Did you launch any new products at CES this year?
Yes, absolutely. Those are some of the watches that I was talking about earlier. Right now, in the marketplace, the biggest Burg watches are the Burg 16A, again, that you're wearing, and it's available at Amazon, and the Burg 12, that's available at Walmart. Those are the two key models that we have out. Coming out in 2015, we probably will be within the next 8 weeks hitting stores, will be the Burg 27 that I had mentioned, that is 3G with an Android, the latest Android platform. And I also, moreover, there is the three largest chip makers in the world are Intel, Motorola, and another company called MediaTek. We have an exclusive on the MediaTek chip for a period of time. This MediaTek chip will allow the new watches that we're coming out with, the Burg 27, the Burg 24, to be able to control your smart devices within your home, and it'll have all the health apps in it. So, we all know that Fitbit is probably by far the most popular device for health. That's a watch that you wear on your wrist. The great thing about the new Burgs that will be coming out is that we're going to have all the applications that Fitbit has in it, but we're also a watch, a phone, a texting device, a social media device. The Burg 27 and 24, as well as a few of the other ones, you actually have internet browsers on them. You can go on Google and do Google searches. It's voice activated. You just say, "Okay, Google," and the Google internet browser pops up on the Burg smartwatch. Badu is also another browser that's incorporated. I mean, it's literally, if somebody even has any flavor or interest at all in technology, to get one of these watches on your wrist creates a tremendous amount of excitement and euphoria, because, it's really something that's from the future that's here today. The things that these Burg smartwatches can do, it's literally mind-boggling and somewhat difficult to comprehend how so much can be accomplished in such a small device.
On the website, it's talking about 12 and 13. Does that mean that the 16 is not out there yet? It is.
No, the 16 is out there. Yes, and the 16A is out there. As I mentioned, that is available from Amazon.com. We actually just relaunched the website. So we redesigned it. We had moved it. It was BurgSmartWatch.com. It's now BurgWearables.com, BurgWearAbles, because the smart, a year or two ago, it was really called a smartwatch. Now there's a whole category of technology that's called wearables. So whether it's watches or it's clothing that has technology devices in it that can help you monitor your workouts and stuff like that. So the whole category has changed to the name wearables.
Oh, okay, yeah, because we were on burgsmartwatches.com.
Right. So now it's burgwearables.com, and we're in the process of having those sites linked up so everything will automatically just redirect. But it's really a phenomenal time in the world for technology. These devices are not only aesthetically beautiful and fun to wear, but they are great assistance to man and woman in simplifying their lives, and having so much powerful technology right there on their wrist.
All right, Stephen. That was good information. I'll play with it some more and see what I can come up with and do a review of it next week.
Yeah.
You keep up the good work.
We certainly are. We're certainly trying. We've got a lot of interest from the press. I'm very excited to be on your show today. I was actually interviewed by ABC on Friday. We're going to be on CBS to talk tomorrow morning with Dr. Gadget. There's a tremendous interest in this brand because of again, the aesthetic beauty and the technological innovation.
Okay. Any last words? Anything else that I did not bring up that you would like to add?
No, whoever's listening today, if they would like to learn more about Burg, you can go to burgwearables.com. Again, that's burgwearables.com. You could also look us up on Facebook, Facebook.com/Burg Wearables or Burg Smartwatch. And if you have any questions, give us a call, send us an email. We're more than happy to answer any of the questions. And I wish everybody a great day.
Same to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, my friend. Good talking to you guys.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was very interesting. There, let me tell you something. I'm beginning to see this as in a different light now. I can't wait to go and play with it. It seems like everybody. It seems like this is a unique watch versus all the other ones that are out there, and I feel lucky to have one of them in my hand.
As Stephen was saying, it does sound like it's ahead of its time.
Yeah. I know it was. I mean, again, I'm a techie guy. I really couldn't figure out if this thing will actually tether or pair with your cell phone, because the wording here is two-way communications, not pair it with or something like that. There is Bluetooth, but I was trying to find out how to pair it so it will talk to it. And it took my wife, Kathy, playing with it to figure out how to do that. Sometimes the simple things are, where? I don't think. And I was actually trying to get a hold of Stephen on Friday to find out about this. Because, again, to have something like this that you would have to have a SIM card, and obviously not the SIM card, you have to have an account, a cell phone account, an extra one that you have to pay by the month. It could be a hindrance
breaker.
to I mean, you wouldn't want to say, well, I don't need another cell phone. I just want something that will talk to my phone, and I can leave my phone in my pocket and not have to fumble for it, and have this on my wrist. And it works like that. And by him clearing that point about not having to have a SIM card, and obviously no SIM card means no cell phone account, and it still works with the phone. That's makes it usable. Sure, there's going to be people out there that would want to have it and use it as a cell phone, and the charge is not that much from what I see on the SIM card wrapper. Like I said, you can pay $20 a month and go 10 cents a call, or pay 30 and have a number of minutes, or pay 40, I think, and it was like 1,500 or something like that. So it's I'm getting excited over it. I guess everybody can tell, huh? All right. Time for us to sign off. And I want to thank everybody for being so patient and staying here for the interview. Steve, thank you. Anything else you want to add?
Well, from my personal perspective,
Yeah.
and the watch that's upcoming later in the year, they're going to be catering for the elderly with the watch design sort of targeted at them. Makes for interesting listening. It's something I would be interested in for my father.
Well, maybe we'll have him here again. I'm sure he will be more than glad to come and talk about it again. And
Yeah,
it is a fashion piece. I guess you have to hold it in your hand and see what accessories it came with to realize, yep, it's a fashion piece, no doubt. Okay. Well, Steve, thanks.
Thank you. Have a good week, everybody.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Dad. Oh, I wanted to add one more thing. Those of you who are local, or local enough, go to, and you are interested in the Vietnam story. At the end of the month, there's going to be a play that was written by a local vet over at the Museum of History downtown. Tickets are free, but the request is that don't just get tickets, because we want to fill up. We want a butt in every seat. There's only 300 seats, 3 shows, so that's 900. We can't have somebody come and say, I want 10, and then they don't show up. That's not going to be right. But go to ncvvi.org, North Carolina Vietnam Veterans Incorporated, ncvvi.org. And right at the top, there's a link to Etchings in Stone. It is a great play, and it is, just to give you an idea, it's like the audience, is inside the wall, the Vietnam Wall, and the play is the people, the parents, the daughters, the families that come through, and what they think and what they say. So, if you want to see it and you're interested, and it is locally, ncvvi.org, and all the information is there. All right, that's all I had to add. So again, good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We will be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This week, there's not going to be a Tanya show or brunch with Gisela today. They're all out there giving classes. See ya.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with AMNON Nissan, Health In with Debbie Brook, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.